howdy. Welcome on in to the pre-show before the free show.
Hi, guys. We're back. We took some time off to recharge after our break. You know, sometimes you have a break and then you need a break from your break. You know, that's kind of what we've done. So we are here doing another show. It's all going great. And Pickle, you are back.
Yes.
From what I believe would be best described as the sequel to the critically acclaimed Muppets Take Manhattan. Is that fair?
I Am Animal.
Well, I wasn't going to say it.
Yeah, Muppets, that's Muppets. Yeah,
Muppets.
Animal.
I wasn't going to say it, but if there was one Muppet that I would associate with you, that feels right. And you went with Mallory, who I would probably associate with. Honestly,
Mallory's more like Animal, and I'm more like Big Bird. If Sesame Street's allowed to be combined with the Muppets.
We're not crossing the streams. Okay, so you guys went to New York.
Yeah, it was a blast. We took a girls' trip up to New York. Got to cross off big bucket list for both of us. The Rockefeller tree was still up.
Nice.
It's up until the 13th, so I guess Saturday. And which meant the skating rink was still in full form. So we did get to go ice skating in front of the Rockefeller tree, which I just feel like is bucket list for a lot of people if you really like Christmas. So that was a blast. That was genuinely fun.
That's excellent. Yeah, my wife and I went to New York for New Year's.
Oh, nice.
Like, this was a decade ago. So I want to say it was like New Year 2010.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were young, and but it was actually before we were even engaged. But we went up there. We didn't do the Times Square thing. But
that's miserable.
She really wanted to go to the Rockefeller Center, see the tree.
Mm-hmm.
We did not skate there. We went and skated at Bryant Park instead.
Nice.
Which was awesome. But yeah, I'm glad you guys got to do that.
Yeah, our hotel was very close to Bryant Park, and we talked about it, and everyone had told us, like, you really need to go to Bryant Park. You really need to go. And it was just one of those things that for this time and this time alone, if the tree was still up, we were going to go. And I couldn't find much about it online, so I called the front desk and was like, hey, is the tree still up? And she goes, yeah, it'll be up till the 13th. And it was like, okay, we're just going to do it to say that we've did it. Now from here, I might go to Bryant Park and do the rest of that whole thing. But for this time, it was worth it to cross that off. And then we also got to cross off massive bucket list for the two of us, which 99% of viewers of this show probably won't get. Maybe we'll have a little more success if we talk about it on WTF. But we went on the full Gossip Girl tour. So that was awesome.
The only thing I saw from your Instagram was you guys went to there's a famous bar or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a Hotel Empire is the big hotel that plays a huge factor in the show.
Like
and
it's
a legitimate hotel. It is called Hotel Empire in New York. Like the logo, they got it to where they could use the same logo. The inside of the hotel is actually where they shot it. So like the bar looks the exact same as it does in the show. The different staircases that they come down, like there's so many different iconic moments that, yeah, we went to that hotel and went up to the rooftop bar to have a drink. And they have a drink called XOXO Gossip Girl. So of course we had to get one of those drinks.
Was it good?
It was very good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I asked my wife about that. I asked my wife, who's we're older than you.
Yes.
And she was like, yeah, Gossip Girl, I think I just missed it.
Yeah, because it was big in 2007 to 11. So Mallory and I didn't watch it when it...
late college for us, and then early adulthood.
Mallory and I didn't watch it when it first actually was airing. We caught it on HBO Max or whatever they call it now. But it was a little bit too early for us, but we've since caught up.
Did you eat good in New York?
Oh yeah. We tried to hit all of the type of places that you would like to go in New York.
Did you go to Sbarro?
No, we did not.
You had an opportunity to do the funniest thing ever
and go to New York for the chain of pizza.
For a classic New York slice.
We ate at a deli one of the days.
Nice.
Had some Italian pastrami type things. We ate at a Chinese food place because I feel like you've got to do that. We did a actual pizza place down there.
Nice.
And we had a funny story from there. So we walk in, and of course they're talking a million miles a minute because they're all Italian, and they're like, what do you want? What can we get you? And we're like, okay, so we said the pizza and we get done, and I see they hand us a cup because we got a soda, and they handed us a cup, and I look in the back and I see some cans of Dr. Pepper in there, and I was like, ooh. And I looked at him and I said, is there any way we could get the Dr. Pepper to put the cans in? Because, like, the fountain drinks didn't have Dr. Pepper. He goes, where are you from? I said, Texas. He goes, I knew it. Cowboys fans. And so we talked about Cowboys for the rest of the time.
Yeah.
But the Dr. Pepper, apparently that and our, hey, how's it going, was a clear giveaway that we were from Texas.
Yeah, they're just like, no, we are not going to. I mean, we'll be friends, but like,
that's it.
You don't. Yeah, don't worry. This is Giants country around here.
Yeah, we went to a Irish pub, and the glass that they served Mallory had the Jets logo on it, so that was funny to see.
Okay.
But yeah, we tried to hit up this was our third time for both of us being there, so we didn't do anything real touristy other than the Rockefeller Center. Everything else was trying to play it like a local. So
okay,
I think we did pretty well.
Well, I'm glad you guys had fun.
Thanks.
Okay. Well, anyway, we're back and we've got a lot to talk about. Hit the theme, Expo.
No.
Pickle. Hit the arrow sign. Yes, y'all! From the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Lewisville, Texas, it is Texas Football Today, a program that's, going to tough it out, do 2 shows in a row this week. My name's Greg Tupper. I'm the manager.
You'll be with Mallory tomorrow. I won't be here.
Oh, wait, that's right. You're not going to be here tomorrow.
I know. I've got to leave at like 11.
Oh, okay. Well, you get Pickle for 1 episode. You get me for 2. My name's Greg Tupper.
You can hear Mallory's take on New York tomorrow.
I'm the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football magazine, TexasFootball.com, a corresponding website. Thank you for spending a part of your day with us. Whether you're watching us live, TexasFootball.com, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all the places, or it's just the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part to support your local mediocre internet show. I am sitting over there at the helm today, making us sound good. Oh my gosh, hold on. She is.
Are you looking up the area code for New York?
She is Miss 212.
Oh yeah.
She's Ashley Pickle.
Hi, friends.
That just tells you, like, I'm sure people are screaming at me, like, of course it's 212, you dummy, like, or whatever.
No idea, but I can tell you that Beaumont is 803. You know, like
yeah, 409.
Whatever. Lubbock is 803.
I don't know, like, New York always seems fun, and I have friends who live in New York, and they say it's great, and I'm just like, that's cool.
I love to visit. Absolutely love to visit. Could not live there. Mallory and I talked about that too, because they were telling us on some of the tours like how much some of those like the brownstones or like the actual townhouses go for, and it's like if I ever had that kind of money, I would way rather go to Malibu and live on the beach or go to have a summer house in the Hamptons or God knows where. There's so much other stuff that I would rather do with that money than living in like this little townhome just because I say I live in New York.
I'd just rather have like big house
with pool and like putt-putt and
away from people.
Yes, exactly.
Did you guys play putt-putt in New York City?
Okay, so we wanted to so bad. I found some. It was freezing because it was on a rooftop bar and there was putt-putt, and that's specifically why I chose that hotel because of the putt-putt, and it ended up being far too cold outside.
I just love the idea. I don't know. This is just me. I love the idea of like 2 young women who are at the bar alone. Yes. Right? Because this was not with significant others. This is just girls' trip.
The girls' trip.
2 young women at
20s.
A bar alone, and like these dudes, like these D-bag dudes from New York who's like, oh, hey, like, check out, like, there are those girls over there. And they're like, do you guys have any putters?
Putt-putt?
You guys have any putters?
Literally, we got up, and, like, there were people around the bar and stuff, and there were some guys that were definitely like, oh, what are they up to? And I was like, you want to go check out the putt-putt? And Mallory's like, duh.
Yeah, how much does it cost to do the putt-putt?
Yeah. That's, like, very us.
That rocks. Today is Thursday. It's January 11th, 2024. It's 322 days until Thanksgiving. Happy birthday to, let's see, do you have a friend who was born today? Because according to the internet.
I don't think so.
According to the internet, Today is the birthday of Her Highness Mary J. Blige.
Oh, nice.
She's 54. Today is also the birthday of nobody else who's important.
Yeah, no.
At least nobody else that I recognize. I'm getting real old. It's episode 1. Oh, it's Alexander Hamilton's birthday. Happy birthday to episode 1715. On today's show, folks, there's been a lot of just coaching news that we haven't really touched on because of just we're still in that weird in-between postseason. Like, college football season's now officially over.
Right.
We're still in that weird in-between, so we haven't really talked with coaching changes all that much. And furthermore, especially in the high school ranks, because it's a realignment year. Realignment coming February 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a realignment year, the coaching carousel in high school football in a realignment year doesn't really get ramped up until after realignment comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I think there's just a lot more, the incentives change at that moment. And so as a result, we are going to take a look at all of the coaching changes that we've missed over the past year, really, in the college ranks and in the high school ranks as well. We're going to touch on all those things because there's big doings in both sectors. So this is a coaching change show. Do we have first four through the door?
We sure do. It was Gus Garza watching from Edinburgh. Shout out RGV.
956.
Jersey number 69, nice. Ed McElroy and Joey Hill. Welcome in, fellas.
Welcome in, friends. We do appreciate you spending a little bit of your day with us. Let's get into it. We're going to start in the college ranks, and I think we would be remiss if we did not talk about the biggest coaching change, and what that means for all of the ripple effects moving forward. I'm, of course, talking about the fact that Snyder defensive coordinator Tanner Mann is the new head coach at Era.
Whoa!
This is
hot off the press.
Big news.
I got a ESPN notification about that yesterday. That's the only coaching change I got an ESPN notification about.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah.
That's something we need on our app.
Yep.
Is like
coaching change.
Is like coaching changes, and especially at places like Era.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I absolutely want a push alert. Congratulations to Coach Mann taking over for Terry Felderhoff. I absolutely want a push alert for when Era hires a new, when a step bomb comes down. But anyway, congratulations to Coach Mann. Let's talk about what came down yesterday in the college football ranks, which is that Nicholas Saban, the longtime head coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide, has announced that he is retiring. He is no longer going to be the head coach at Alabama. And that is obviously big news just because of the stature that he has within the sport. Mm-hmm. He's a guy who won 7 national championships, 6 of them at Alabama. Turned Alabama into, like, it's important to remember, and really, I'm doing some math on you. You were a college football nerd growing up.
Yeah.
Like, you were into college football and stuff.
Yeah.
So there's probably a time that you remember where Alabama wasn't like a super powerhouse.
I mean, it gets kind of hard because, like, obviously, I remember, like, the Texas championship in 2015 and stuff, or 2015, in 2005.
Yeah.
But that was really, like, if it was outside of the scope of people that Texas was playing, yeah. I don't remember it super well. And then my first real huge memory of Alabama is the championship in 2009.
Let me ask you a question. So, do you know who the head coach before Nick Saban was?
No, I don't.
It was Mike Shula.
Yeah, no idea.
Mike Shula was the head coach at Alabama back in 2006. Nick Saban took over in 2007. And it's important to remember that, like, before that time, from 2006 until you get back to, like, the Bear Bryant era, so from, let's call it 1980 until 2006, Alabama, it would probably be on par with, like, an Ole Miss.
Yeah.
They weren't bad.
No.
They weren't bad, but they were just kind of there. Like,
yeah.
They would have a 10-win season every once in a while, but they'd also lay an egg. Like, they would be a program that would have a year every once in a while. 7-5.
That feels like a Florida or Miami. Like, that feels like another good comparison.
Like, they won a national championship in '92 with Gene Stallings, but, like, they were not what you think of with Alabama.
Yeah.
Oh, you're the dominant force. You're the final boss in college football.
Yes, and they have been, I think that you could say, for the past 5 or 6 years.
Oh.
If not even longer than that.
Let's put it this way. They won a BCS national championship in 2009.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
They beat Texas.
In 2009. Since then, and since 2008, I'll go back to a second year there where they went 12-2 and they lost the Sugar Bowl. Since then, they have never won fewer than 10 games. Like, you could set your watch to them.
Mm-hmm.
They are the dominant force in college football, hard stop. That's not an opinion. Like, that's just the facts. And the fact that Nick Saban is stepping down is going to have massive ripple effects.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you're probably wondering, doesn't that croissant say Texas football today? And the answer is yes. It does say Texas football today. So let's talk about some potential impact on the state of Texas. Obviously, this changes what the SEC looks like,
mm-hmm.
which is important for Texas A&M and for Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Also, hey, Pickle, just a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the head coach of the University of Texas Longhorns?
Steve Sarkisian.
Steve Sarkisian. Ashley Pickle, you're a college football expert.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what his job was immediately prior to being the head coach of Texas?
The offensive coordinator at Alabama under Nick Saban.
Interesting. So he has ties to Alabama. In fact, you can make an argument that he was the coordinator of their most prolific offense.
Yes, absolutely.
That was the year. Was that Tua's last year?
Mm-hmm.
It was Tua's last year.
Because they won in Georgia. That one was in Atlanta, I think.
Yeah, I would need to look it up. But Steve Sarkisian has ties to Texas.
We were on the plane yesterday. I had my phone on airplane mode when that news broke. So when we land in Dallas, I get a notification that says Nick Saban is retiring, and I was like, holy cow. I hit Mallory and I said, look at this. And literally the first thing out of my mouth was, Texas fans are about to be on edge.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was like, Sark, and she goes, oh, that's a great point.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So here's the funny thing, okay? I want to one thing that I started looking at is certainly they're not going to, they'll be able to match any sort of the money that they want. Pickle, do you know how much money Steve Sarkisian makes at
I actually don't. I don't know the exact dollar amount.
Steve Sarkisian makes $7 million a year to be the head coach at Texas. And you're thinking, well, that's a pretty penny. I would do that job for half. And yeah, I certainly would. Pickle, that would, in last year's SEC, that would rank, I believe, 11th in the SEC.
Wow. I didn't realize that.
Here are some coaches who make more than him, okay? Kirby Smart, duh. Nick Saban, duh.
Duh, yes.
Brian Kelly.
Okay, let's cross those off.
Lane Kiffin. Okay? Jimbo Fisher, obviously. Eli Drinkwitz.
Really?
Mark Stoops. Any of these guys really strike you as... All I'm here to say...
If you want to argue, obviously, the first three that you said, yes. The rest of them, no.
All I'm here to tell you, okay, this is my only point here. Do I think Steve Sarkisian is going to leave for Alabama? No, probably not.
I don't think so either.
Do I think yesterday was a good day to be Steve Sarkisian's agent?
Absolutely, because he's instantly, I guarantee you, if they haven't already met about contract negotiation with what's-his-face from Texas, then, there's no way he's not in that office today.
Oh. He's getting a raise.
Yes.
There's a lot of coaches who are going to get a raise out of this. I think Dan Lanning at Oregon's going to get a raise out of this.
Yep.
I think Steve Sarkisian's going to get a raise out of this. So do I think that Texas is going to be looking for a new head coach because Steve Sarkisian's going to leave for Alabama? No, I do not. I don't. I don't think, Alabama is one of those jobs that maybe you would leave Texas to go be the head coach at, but I don't think that Steve Sarkisian would leave Texas right now to go.
No, because I don't think he wants to be the person that follows Nick Saban either. That is difficult.
No, you don't want to be. You want to be the guy after the guy after.
Yes.
You don't want to be the guy after.
Yes. You want someone to go fizzle out in 3 years,
absolutely.
and then you bring him back. That's what you want. That's your dream.
So, that is something to keep an eye on. I don't think it'll matter, but you never know. Speaking of other coaching news across the state, G.J. Kinney got a contract extension through 2028 and a nice little raise as well. He's now got $1 million base salary there at Texas State. I would say that is well earned. There has been a lot of maneuvering in the call it the non-FBS ranks, and Corey Hogue's been all over it. Braxton Harris has left Houston Christian to become the next head coach at Campbell, the Campbell Camels. They have gone and they have hired the longtime defensive coordinator from Houston Christian is named Zach Wilkerson to be their defensive coordinator. Did I have this right? Yeah, Jesse. Is that right? He was the defense coordinator at Hardin-Simmons, but I believe Houston Christian is still looking for, or no, they've named Jason Bachtel as their next head coach. I had that confused. Howard Payne, he's leaving Howard Payne to go be the next head coach at Houston Christian. I had that confused. So Houston Christian does have a new head coach. There's also a lot of maneuvering. Texas A&M's Clint Dolzell is going to take over as their offensive coordinator. He's going to call plays next year, which is of note. Texas is, for all the things that Texas is trying to hold on to, including Quinn Ewers, who announced he is coming back today. They lost their defensive line coach in Bo Davis. He's going to LSU. But one of the I would say that the most interesting story in college football coaching right now, this is hard to say.
Yeah.
More interesting than Nick Saban retiring?
To a certain subset.
I'll say messier.
Yes. I would say from an interest level, it's very interesting. I don't think nationally it's being recognized.
Are y'all paying attention to what's going on at Texas Southern? So Texas Southern is looking for a new head coach. Now this has been a story that Corey Hogue has been all over. Mm-hmm. He has eaten, slept, and drank this Texas Southern story. Go back to November, and there were leaks that Clarence McKinney was going to be let go. But then TSU comes out, and they deny the report, and they say, absolutely not, absolutely not. And a week later, his contract wasn't renewed. So watch what they do. Don't listen to what they say. Yep. His contract was set to expire, and he left. There's then a lot of jockeying and positioning and some names that come up about guys that could be the next head coach at Texas Southern. One of them is Andre Johnson, the Texans wide receiver. Former Texans wide receiver. Could be Brett Maxey, the Colorado defensive backs coach. Mickey Joseph, who was a former coach there at Nebraska. And so then December 15th comes along. And all of this is following, at this point, a relatively normal coaching search thing. Mm-hmm. December 15th rolls around, and they call a special meeting to appoint and negotiate an employment contract for a new head football coach. And it sounds like it's going to be Fred McNair. Fred McNair was the head coach at Alcorn State. They're going to go and poach a SWAC rival to be the next head coach at Texas Southern. And all of this is very boring. Mm-hmm. No, I don't mean boring. I mean normal.
Yes.
Par for the course. The meeting is called, but they couldn't reach a quorum. Now, for those who don't know, quorum means you have to have X number of members of the boards of regents there to hold it. You can't have a party if there's only a couple of people there. You have to have enough people to vote. They can't have a quorum. They call another virtual meeting 4 days later, but no decision is reached. 2 members apparently disagreed and wanted Andre Johnson to be the head coach. So then Alcorn State says they can't reach a new contract with Fred McNair, and the Braves promote their defensive coordinator to be like, all right, we're promoting him as our new head coach, Cedric Thomas. That's it. We're done. We're done with Fred McNair. We couldn't reach a contract negotiation. He's in this weird thing with Texas Southern, so bye. They remove themselves from the situation. December 28th, okay? Now, a month and a half afterwards, they go and they call another meeting and once again can't come to a conclusion. They can't hire somebody. So, And they're saying, now there's still rumblings that it could be Fred McNair at the end of this. But we are now at January 11th. It has been 2 months almost. And they cannot agree on a coach. Now, there have been some interesting names that have rolled around. Mm-hmm. Hines Ward is being tossed around as potentially the next head coach of the Texas Southern Tigers. Fred McNair is still in the mix. Andre Johnson apparently still in the mix.
That's crazy. Honestly,
but the dysfunction at Texas Southern is shocking. Yep. It's an amazing story that I feel like not enough people are paying attention to. Corey Hogue has been all over it on TexasFootball.com.
Honestly, you start to get into the dangerous territory the longer that goes on, of those guys going, if you don't want me and you can't agree on me, then I don't want to be there.
No,
and you're going to lose every possible good candidate that you have.
We talk about this with high school jobs too, right? You know what we talked about? We talked about with Cedar Hill last year.
Yep.
Cedar Hill, that process went on and on and on. And sometimes a job, if it sits out in the sun too long,
you start to wonder what's wrong with it.
What's wrong with this? What's wrong with this? And then suddenly people are not interested in it, and it's one of those snowball effects.
Right, because you start to wonder with the people who are making those decisions, is this someone I could actually work with? Is this someone that can be my employer? Do
I want this person to be my boss?
Yep.
And so at Texas Southern, it is a mess. But, of course, Corey Hogue will have you covered every step of the way at TexasFootball.com. All right, coming up here in just a moment, we're going to run through some of the big high school football coaching changes, including a reigning state championship program is open right now. But first, a word from these goods and services.
I feel like bustin' loose, bustin' loose. Come on, get on up. Oh yeah, get on up. Bustin' loose when you wanna sing. Bustin' loose, baby, do your thing. Talking about bustin' loose, yeah.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Potter, Executive Director of Be Well Texas. Too many people are struggling alone these days, and alcohol and drug deaths are increasing. We started Be Well Texas to offer high-quality, science-based addiction treatment and recovery services anywhere, even at home. We provide compassionate, caring support, virtually or in person. In many cases, there is no cost for treatment if you don't have insurance. Really. Welcome to Be Well Texas. We're glad you're here.
Wing is the largest residential drone delivery provider in the world, delivering to your home in less than 30 minutes. Order using an app just like other popular delivery services, and Wing's automated drone takes care of the rest. It's fast, safe, and sustainable, and it's now delivering to parts of Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas. You can learn more at wing.com/TexasFootball. Again, that's wing.com/TexasFootball.
Born and bred in Texas hits a little different, as it should. Texas loves doing business with fellow Texans. VCR Now takes its Texas roots as seriously as its many partnerships with schools and universities around the state. It's also why we're so proud to promote our brand in the pages of the Texas Bible, Dave Campbell's Texas Football, and on the airwaves of Texas Football Today. Driven by producing quality broadcast video, state-of-the-art audio, and LED video scoreboards at affordable prices, VCR Now makes sure to listen to your needs in its athletic department before recommending the next best steps. Building great products is our business, and it's our focus on building meaningful, long-term partnerships with our clients that sets us apart. From our 24/7, 365-day help desk, the training lab in our hometown of Red Oak, or our sports marketing business plan that puts money back in the hands of our athletic departments we support, VCR Now is built to last. Reach out to us today at info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW. Again, that's info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW.
Back here on Texas Football Today, we are running through some of the coaching changes that have happened across the state of Texas over the past, month or so. The coaching change carousel is starting to spin. Of course, Matt Stepp has got you covered every step of the way at TexasFootball.com. But there's a few that we should probably talk about. One of them, we're going to go 6A to 2A. Okay, we'll go 6A to small school. Some of them we knew, right? Our friend Terry Crawford is done at Abbott. He's announced like a year ago this is going to be his last year. McKinney is open. Our friend Marcus Shavers has stepped down after 6 seasons at McKinney. Went 37-31, 9-3 overall. You may remember that he was off the sideline for a couple of games this week or this year. I do not know. I don't have confirmation as to whether or not this is related to that. I know he was reinstated and was back on the sideline coaching.
Right. Yeah, he coached for the remainder of the year.
I think I feel I know. I feel like probably that situation probably gave him a reason to say, you know what, maybe I should just leave. I don't know if this is the right environment for me. I think that may be something like that. So McKinney is open. Marcus Shavers has stepped down. Interesting move here in kind of San Antonio, Central Texas area. New Braunfels is open. Glenn Mangold has stepped down after, I believe, 12 seasons with the Unicorns. 11 seasons with the Unicorns. He is retiring from public school football and is going to be the new head coach of the Buttons of San Antonio Central Catholic.
How about that?
He's going to go take over in the private school ranks. So this is not... congratulations to Coach Mangold. Congratulations to the Buttons. They're getting a heck of a football coach. This is not entirely unusual. Coach Mangold, with the way that teaching works in this, because remember, to be a football coach in Texas at UIL school, you have to be a full-time educator. So Coach Mangold has been a full-time educator for quite a while. With the way that the pension works, from what I understand, you get to a certain number of years. After that, you've got your full pension.
Yep.
Obviously, Coach Mangold still wants to coach, so he's going to be able to go and kind of double dip.
You can claim retirement from the
absolutely. He can claim retirement from the TRS,
and then also make a paycheck.
Just
from
keep getting a paycheck.
So
makes a lot of sense to me. Congratulations, Coach Mangold. Congratulations to San Antonio Central Catholic. As New Braunfels will be looking for a new head coach. Richmond George Ranch is looking for a head coach. Nick Cavallo has stepped down after 6 seasons. He was to take over at Katie Morton Ranch. Katie Morton Ranch came open when Ron Counter got reassigned within Katy ISD, and George Ranch, Nick Cavallo is going to take over there. He's been there for 6 seasons, going 34-30 in that span, including 9-3 this past year. San Angelo Central is open. Kevin Crane is taking on a different role after 3 seasons there at San Angelo Central. That is going to be a heavily sought after job.
Yes.
San Angelo Central I know that they have not been like big state ranked program for a minute.
But if you're out in that neck of the woods, that's a big
That is a legacy program with a lot of history.
Beautiful stadium.
A lot going for it. A lot of expectations. A lot
Loyal
of expectations. But that's a little Southwest Conference job that's coming up. That is the equivalent of like an SEC job opening up. I don't care if they haven't been good recently. You're in the right league.
Yep.
So keep an eye on that one. That's keeping something. We're now kind of moving into retirements. Les Goad has retired at Buda Hayes after a long time. He had 28 seasons there. He's been at Hayes for quite a while. He led Geronimo Navarro to a state semifinal appearance in 2016 and led Hayes to a semifinal appearance in 2020. People forget that because 2020 was such a wild year.
I don't forget that. I was at that game.
Hayes made
70-7 against
70
Katy.
14, I think it was. But they made it to a state semifinal. Coach Goad had spent 28 seasons as a head coach. He was a head coach at Nazareth, too. The Swifts.
How about that?
How about that? Anyway, congratulations to Coach Goat on his retirement. Edinburgh Vale has come open as John Campbell has retired there at Edinburgh Vale. He spent 20 years as a head coach, did great things at Edinburgh Vale, kind of getting that program off the ground. But John Campbell has announced his retirement after from there. Elsewhere across the state of Texas, we mentioned that we might have mentioned this. Speaking of friends of Dave Campbell's Texas football, Lubbock Coronado has come open. DJ Mann has stepped down after 3 seasons at his alma mater. Led him to a district championship in 2021 in an area round playoff appearance. Went 2-8 this year. I will editorialize here. It is sad to me that didn't work.
Yep.
It's sad to me that didn't work.
Especially at his alma mater.
Absolutely. That is sad. That's sad to me personally that didn't work. But I know that he's going to be a guy who's going to be heavily sought after.
Yes.
In both the high school ranks and in the college ranks, in my uninformed opinion. Elsewhere across the state, Corsicana is open. Eric Sardinia is out after just 2 seasons there. Two tough years. Remember, he was at Dangerfield before that.
Yeah, Corsicana's having a lot of turnover after what's his face finally left. Hal Watson was there for
for
a handful of years.
Yeah. But now they've got another turnover. They're looking for a new head coach. Eric Sardinia is out after 2 seasons. Elsewhere across the state, this is a big one. Lovejoy is open, and this is a nice crossover because Lovejoy is open because Chris Ross, who went 45-9 in 4 seasons there with 3 regional final appearances, but just couldn't get over that South Oak cliff hump. Chris Ross is leaving to become the new offensive coordinator at Stephen F. Austin.
Yep.
He's going to go out there to SFA to be the new offensive coordinator for Coach Colby Carthel and company.
He's going to have a fun time with Cannon Lindbergh being on his team.
SFA, well, he's used to having big-time receivers.
Yeah.
I mean, they've certainly had that. But Chris Ross is leaving to become the new offensive coordinator at Stephen F. Austin. That opens up an attractive job in the DFW Metroplex there in Lovejoy, so keep an eye on that one. Speaking of retirements, Jack Alvarez has retired after 26 years as a head coach, most recently at Marshall. People probably know him as the head coach at Ennis, at Copperas Cove, at Cuero. He took Ennis to that 2014 state championship, coaching a pair of title games at Kirbyville. Great dude. Wish Jack Alvarez the best. An all-time great guy. Immediately, they promoted Jason Hammett, who is their top assistant there at Marshall. That's a guy who was this was like I don't know if this is a one press release thing, but like it may as well have been a one press release thing. This was grand opening, grand closing for that job opening. But they promoted Jason Hammett. Now he does have 2 years as a head coach. He was at Copperas Cove for a pair of years. Down in the Golden Triangle, Port Neches Groves is still celebrating their state championship. Across town, different story there for Nederland. Nederland is looking for a new head coach, as Coach Monty Barrow has announced his retirement. He spent 26 years at Nederland as an assistant coach and a head coach. They went 10-2 back in 2018. Coach Barrow is retiring there at Nederland. Elsewhere across the state of Texas. What else is hopping out here? You can go on TexasFootball.com for all these coaching changes. Burnett is looking for a new head coach. Brian Wooden has resigned after 3 seasons, 15-17 during his 3 years. Went 8-4 this year, nice year, but Brian Wood has announced his resignation there at Burnett.
My phone was blowing up after that one.
Yeah, I'm sure down that part of the world.
I was 6 to say, they're like, who do you think it's going to be?
Marble Falls.
This is the other one that my phone was blowing up about.
Marble Falls, Brian Herman stepped down after 5 seasons. He took him to a regional semifinal in 2021. They have hired Vandergrift assistant Kerry Timmerman to be their next head coach. Coach Timmerman does have a head coaching experience. He was the head coach at Lake Worth in a previous life, but he takes over a Marble Falls program.
I think that's a good get.
A kick in the rear end, but yeah, talk about a guy who knows his
and
way around.
And it's crazy because anyone that knows from down there, like the thought of Burnett and Marble Falls both going into a year with a new head coach hasn't happened in forever. Yeah. That's big stuff down there.
Those are 2 of the big programs that people talk about down there in that neck of the woods.
Trisha Pickle alma mater of the Marble Falls Mustangs.
Yeah, the Trisha Pickle, the Trisha Pickle
Memorial High School.
I was going to say that's the Trisha Pickle zone.
Yes, exactly.
The region. Navasota is looking for a new head coach. Casey Dacus is stepping down after 6 seasons. He's an alum, which is interesting. But he steps down after 6 seasons. Went 36-31 overall. They never really reached those kind of heights that they did when they were winning state championships back in the earlier part of the last decade. But Casey Dacus has stepped down after some years there at Navasota. Lance Angel has retired at Palestine. He was head coach at Cooper, Canton, and Palestine. He was also the athletic director at Bryan ISD for a couple of years. But Lance Angel has announced his retirement as well. What else is going on here? Graham. Big doings at Graham. Kenny Davidson is retiring. This came out right after state championships. Kenny Davidson is retiring. He in 14 years, he won 130 and 46, took him to a state semifinal 5 times. 5 times. Defensive coordinator for 5 years before them. That's big doings. That's a big job. It's a big job. Big hole to fill. I am not comparing Kenny Davidson to Nick Saban. I am not. What I am saying is that in Graham, Texas, being the guy who follows the guy is a hard job.
Yep.
It's a hard job. So Graham is coming open. That'll be one to keep an eye on. Manor New Tech is open.
How about that? The Fighting Schmales.
Quincy Williams has announced his retirement before the end of the season. Led them to the playoffs back in 2020. Another big retirement. Here's a name. Tom Westerberg has retired.
Yeah.
Tom Westerberg, most known as being Kyler Murray's coach. At Allen, led them to 4 straight state championships. He spent 2 seasons as head coach at his alma mater at Salado. He has decided to retire. He's going to retire. I would imagine he's got a house down there, and he may just stick around. You're probably in Salado. It's probably not the last you've seen of Tom Westerberg. No. I guess. But Coach Tom Westerberg's always been great to us here at Dave Campbell's.
He knew going into that was going to be his last stop. I remember him telling us, like, he was like, I don't know how long I'll keep going, but I do know that this is going to be my last stop, because he was at Barbers Hill for a little while before then.
He left Allen to go to Barbers Hill, and then Barbers Hill.
But he was the AD at Barbers Hill, came out of AD to go back into being a head coach, because he hired Carl Absek down at Barbers Hill.
Sunnyvale is open. Our friend John Settle has retired. John Settle, after 21 years, including the last 13 years at Sunnyvale, has announced his retirement. Congratulations to him on an outstanding career. Liberty Ilo. This is a big doings. Liberty Ilo in Texarkana will have a new coach. Dawoski Davis is out after 4 seasons, and they have hired Tyler Legacy offensive coordinator Brad Willard. That name may ring a bell because he was
Mount Vernon.
He was the head coach at Mount Vernon when they were really cooking the past couple of years. But he became the offensive coordinator for Tyler Legacy for a year, and now is back in the head coaching game as the head coach at Liberty Ilo. Keep an eye on that.
Have we asked our friend Hudson Standish how he excited?
I don't know. That's Liberty.
Oh.
It's a different one. It's not Liberty Hill.
Yeah, Panthers.
It's not Frisco Liberty.
They're both Panthers, to be fair.
And it's not
Ilo. They're the Eagles.
It's not another school. They're just Liberty, not Liberty. Yeah. Anyway, Jefferson. Speaking of East Texas, Antoine Jimerson steps down after 9 seasons, 2 really good years, including back in 2018. They have hired Texarkana Pleasant Grove co-defensive coordinator Ty Taylor to be their next head coach. Ty Taylor is a guy that I know that Coach Josh Gibson is crazy about there, and he's excited for him to get an opportunity there in Jefferson, as Jefferson will have a new head coach in Ty Taylor. Elsewhere across the state of Texas, let's see. East Bernard. East Bernard is open. Wade Bossy has announced he is stepping down after 8 seasons there. Went 77-23. 11 of the state semifinals back-to-back years in 2018 and 2019. But East Bernard is a big opening there. I think the question there is going to be, wherefore art thou slot T? Do they continue to run the slot T down there at East Bernard? We'll keep an eye on that one. Elsewhere, Paul Pewitt is open again. Now, this is, and I'm not trying to pick on anybody. I want to be clear about this. This is going to be there because, well, let me finish the story here. Cedric Dorsey has resigned after 3 seasons. He did lead them to the playoffs in 2021 and 2022. Here's the thing. Whoever gets hired will be their 5th head coach since 2015.
Yep, when
so they had Ryan Gentry for 3 years. Then Tristan Abram came in, took him to a state championship game.
Coach of the year.
Richard Strickland was there for 1 year, and now Cedric Dorsey has been there for 3. It's a lot of turnover.
Yeah, especially from a team that literally played in a state championship a handful of years ago.
Mm-hmm. Keep an eye on that. But that's another job that's open there out east. Is Paul Pewitt has come open. Speaking of out east, Greg Pearson. You may remember this is an interesting situation. Greg Pearson back in early 2022 came out of retirement to take over as the head coach at Wascom after 2 seasons. He's going back into retirement. Congratulations, Coach Pearson, coming out of retirement and now back into retirement. Bosqueville has come open. Clint Zander has resigned after 16 seasons at Bosqueville. Went 110-78, led them to a regional final back in 2013, 4 regional semifinal appearances. But Bosqueville is looking for a new head coach for the first time in more than a decade, as Clint Zander has stepped down as head coach. Elsewhere, here's probably the 2 biggest ones in the 2A ranks. We're talking about 2 teams. So, do you remember what the state championship game was for 2A Division 1?
2A Division 1 was, oh goodness gracious, Timpson.
Yep.
And
another team, Snakes.
Toller.
Right. Timpson and Toller. What if I were to tell you both of them are going to have new head coaches next year?
Yeah.
Both are open. Kerry Thurwanger has retired at Timpson. He led them to a state championship this past year and then announced his retirement pretty quickly after that. 183-75. Led Lovelady to a state semifinal 3 times and then Timpson to a state semifinal 3 times in addition to the state championship. We certainly wish Coach Thurwanger the best. So he's going out on top.
Smart man.
Going out on top.
I always respect when coaches do that after a long, really successful career.
Check.
When you finally get the state championship, adios.
See ya.
I respect it. Absolutely respect it.
On the other side, too, Toller is looking for a new head coach. Jeremy Mullins is leaving after 7 seasons. Did great work. Obviously, game of the state championship game. It went 72-32 in 7 years there. He is going to take over as the new head coach at Eagle Mountain High School, which is going to open this August. Eagle Mountain High School in Saginaw area. He is going to take over there. That's a 4A. They're going to be a 4A Division 2. We presume they're going to be 4A Division 2 when realignment comes out in about a month. But he will be taking over that program there. So the Snake Farm there at Toller is looking for a new head coach as Jeremy Mullins is leaving. And then finally, I want to mention this one. Tenaha has a new head coach. Terry Ward, who is in his second stint there as head coach, is leaving after 2 really good years there. They have promoted their assistant coach Marlon Birdsong to be their head coach. There's nothing interesting about that, normal kind of stuff, assistant coach being promoted to head coach. Except here's another thing, and it's classic 2A stuff. Marlon Birdsong, also the principal.
Let's go. Yeah, buddy. In our bag.
That rocks. Absolutely. Congratulations to Marlon Birdsong, the new head coach of the Tenaha Tigers, as moving from assistant coach principal to head coach. And I presume principal. That's interesting. I wonder if you can stick around.
I don't know if you can be.
That's a lot of work.
I don't know if you can be principal and head coach. Assistant and principal
I'll tell you
is
what,
okay.
that happens in 6-man.
Yeah, okay, that's a little bit different. There are at least a little bit more students in a 2A school.
There may be even some situations where it's like superintendent.
Yeah. Well, Lorena's coach went from assistant, he was the offensive line coach and the principal, to now just straight up head coach.
Yeah, that's true.
After Ray Biles retired.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So I think head coach is when you gotta take the principal hat off.
No, I'd love for him to do it. Like asking and like somebody gets sent to your office and you just have them do up downs. That'd be awesome. Anyway.
That sounds like a lawsuit waiting to happen nowadays.
Well, I'm aware. We'll have all the coaching changes for you at TexasFootball.com. Let's go over to Ashley Pickle for America's second favorite segment. Final thoughts. You're just hitting it and quitting it. You're here. You're not back till Tuesday.
That is correct. Yeah, Monday is a holiday, so I guess that's a good thing to say. One, I do want to say that all our coaching changes are sponsored by the North Texas Helpful Honda dealers. So shout out, because since I won't be here for Helpful Honda Mailbag Friday tomorrow, shout out Honda. We love you. And you can go ahead and go, if you miss any of those or any more popping up, make sure to check Step's Twitter and our website because they will all be on there. But yes, scheduling note, Monday is MLK Day, so we will not be having a show as we are off that day.
So we're doing that.
But Mallory will be here tomorrow. So
keep an eye on all that. That's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. For Ashley Pickle, I'm Greg Tepper. Vince Young, please meet your Player of the Year trophy. We will see you tomorrow. Well, I will on Texas Football Today.